Yo, what's going on, everybody? B plus here. Night three of some positive news. This is just my way of giving back to this Christian hip hop community that has given me, quite frankly, so much. And as we all know, a lot of drama happens from time to time, and things like that. And it's a time and place to talk about those things, and we do that. But at the same time, this is just my way of just talking about something positive, talk about something light, and I got a whole crew with me today. In fact, this is the newest collective in CHH. So let's go ahead and kick things off. We're gonna start with you, Mike, and then we'll go ahead and go around, introduce you guys to the people.
Man, I'm George Washington. It's like, no.
This guy.
There's truth that gave me that name, man. No, it's your boy Mike Wise, Philly all day, man. Shout out to y'all, Vanguards up, guards up, y'all, man. You know, peep the vision. I'm excited about what we about to embark on with these guys, man. So, thank you for having us. We appreciate you. Let's give these people have a good night and some positive news, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Truth, over to you.
Yes, sir. It's Truther. Mike like to call me the Tim Duncan of the crew. Well-rounded all across the board. A little dry, but we make it happen. What's good?
All right, GB, over to you.
All right, this is GB representing for the DMV, Maryland specifically. Yeah, man, happy to be here. Let's get into it.
All right, round it out, Bill B.
Yeah, it's your boy Bill B. I live in Dallas, but it's 614 Columbus, Ohio till I die. Ohio over everything. So, yeah, man, appreciate you for bringing us here, man. And let's have a good night.
Yes, sir. And I purposely left Bill B for last because I'm from Ohio too. So I'm from Cincinnati, transplant to the DFW area. He's from Ohio, the transplant area to the DFW. So I had to save the best for last. That's what I had to do. Sorry.
No basketball team.
What'd you say, Mike?
Nothing, man. We talk about it later. We ain't got no basketball team over there, man.
You said Ohio. We have the Cavs. I know Bron ain't there, but we still out here. We kinda out here.
Right.
We might,
It's all right.
as long as we don't lose Spider, we'll be all right.
We'll get into that.
All right. Well, so I'm happy to have you guys here tonight. It's a interesting time in CHH. I believe that this is probably the best CHH has probably ever been, as far as like top to bottom, from us having the ability to move independently, to even start groups like you guys have, to be able to have power over your music, your publishing and things like that. We're getting looks from everywhere, from Sway to On the Radar. Obviously, the biggest news 2 weeks ago when K-Dot shouted out D1 and Lecrae. So I feel like CHH is in a really dope spot. And so I just want to bring you guys in just so we can introduce you guys, because a lot of times we only think about like the quote unquote big Christian hip hop artists, but I really got plugged into the indie scene. Shout out to actually 520 Collective was really instrumental in like kind of helped me see the indie scene. So I want to start things off with either Mike or Truth. I know I had you guys on about a month ago talking about how you guys formed this duo. So I guess do a quick recap of how TLS plays a part in this indie scene, and then also just like how the Vanguards came to be.
I could go ahead and then Mike, you could chime in. Interrupt me if I mess up any of the details. So I actually started out with 520. They had a group chat and they were doing like artists. They were just trying to unite, I think, independent artists and some of the up and coming guys. So guys like Mitch Durrell was in there. A bunch of people, Intellect, a bunch of people who now are pretty consistent in our space. But yeah, I started there. I kind of worked my way into Ruslan's community, and then Q Flow and Mitch Durrell came up with the TLS, which was really just, the name is just a name. I mean, they wanted a place, where guys could just shoot demos to each other. So they called it the listening session. It was that simple. So it becoming TLS and the whole like music side of like dropping music. That's just about byproduct of us sharing music with each other and then finding out like, oh, you dope. Oh, if you tweak this right here, this song will be perfect. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, we should work together. And that's kind of how some of that came together. Now, Vanguards is a byproduct of that community because that's where I actually, and I followed, I think, Mike on Twitter prior to the TLS chat. But I think, we kind of would, ironically, we would actually butt heads in the chat. You know what I mean? Like we'd be arguing about different topics and stuff like that, which that still hasn't changed. But like that's actually was my introduction to Mike, is disagreeing with him. Like I can honestly say, like I don't even know if you remember, but like I definitely disagreed with him way more than I agreed with him like early on in the chat. But it wasn't like malicious. It was just like brotherly, arguments about different things that we both was passionate about. Then we started chopping it up just, on an individual level and kind of getting to know each other personally. And he was trying to get some of his music off the ground and execute his stuff. I was already at a point, I think, where I was starting to find my sound. And then we just started working together. And that's when he actually coined Vanguards. And I'll let him take it from there, just not to haul all the time up. But like he really was the reason why that we are here today, all of us.
Got it.
George Washington, next like
it's a little valid, but don't.
No, in all seriousness, I reached out to Truth for a song, and I think at the time, the one particular song, it kind of was like we had like 2 other beats or 3 other beats or something like that, and it was like, yo, we might as well make this a project. I did ask him that, right? And graciously, he was like, all right, cool. And he didn't have to do that at the time because, like he said, we was at different places, skill level wise, and even like monthly listeners, et cetera, et cetera. And so he didn't really have to do that. So I appreciate that from him. And so as we started working on the songs and stuff, we were thinking about what we wanted to call the project. And so as we thinking about what we wanted to call the project, we started, throwing out what we wanted to represent, right? And leadership and leading in creativity, leading in skill set, leading in setting a standard, right, for people in the space, et cetera, et cetera. And we kind of like landed on Vanguards, and we felt like that kind of encapsulated, everything that we kind of wanted to represent. You feel me? And so then obviously Vanguards 1 came out, and then we did more things even within the TLS projects and stuff like that. We did more things together. So we were doing like back and forth songs and stuff like that. And it just was easier to be like, yeah, the Vanguards versus me and Truther or Truther and Mike. Like it was easier to just communicate like that. And so it went from there to, was it me or you who thought about bringing in like GB and Bill?
Oh, that 100% was you. That was 100%. All of it. That's why I say this all started with Mike, because the name Vanguards for the project, then that becoming like this, whole duo thing. And that was another thing too. And just to interject with the TLS. So one of the things we did with that first mixtape, it wasn't something we really talked about or, publicized, was like, we had this idea of like putting people together as like duos. So you might have, I'm trying to think of an example, like Just Ray's and Cyrus Sonata as a duo for a song, or Just Ray. Just Ray's had a lot of duos on that project, by the way. But you might have him and Weeze on a record. Me and Mike, you had Mitch and Alcott. So we were kind of pairing people together like that. You had Bill and Untitled, which they just dropped the project. So it's a lot of, it was just trying different things out, just based on chemistry, and then based on that. So that's kind of where like the Vanguards just kind of stuck. It was really just a title of a project, but then we started getting called the Vanguard. So it was like, well, kind of sound dope. We can go with that. But it wasn't really nothing formal.
And so I'll be honest, as it pertains to bringing in Bill and GB, we were thinking about what was next, right? What was next? And if we wanted to go into collective and all that, and what that would look like and all of that, those different things. And I'm like, yo, this is a perfect time to do it, because really what we know of Indie Tribe, right? Like how many, and there, I think Adam just came out with a collective, right? But we were kind of in the midst of forming that around like a little bit before Adam actually announced his. And then there's a few others. We got the hoes, right? Heaven on Earth, right?
Our
Yeah.
heaven on earth.
Them hoes be
Yeah.
out here, man. You gotta watch out for them now.
Yeah.
Shout
They
out to
said
them,
it.
man.
They said it
Shout out
first.
to them, man. But so they're forming a collective, right? We know
Yeah.
NCO is a collective, right? And
Yep.
so
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, man. To be honest, I was like, man, I feel like this is the time that we need to kind of take it to the next level. And if we're
Yeah.
going to do it, then we need to do this now, because I believe that's something that's going to be more consistent going forward in the space, right? And so
Got you.
it's
Got you.
almost, I literally told Truth to like, yo, we got to get our draft in now, because I feel like by
Yeah.
Yeah.
beginning of next year, everybody going to be putting together collectives, and it's going to be like, kind of oversaturated, so to speak. So I'm
Got
like,
it.
and so we're talking about who should be it, et cetera, et cetera. And
Yeah.
Got
went
you.
from there.
So GB, what was it like when you got the call about being a part of this? Like, what was that like for you? Like, was your initial thought like, yeah, or was just kind of like, what you mean by a collective? Like, kind of how did that land for you?
Um, I was quite surprised. So me and Truth, there had been in conversations. I'm assuming after him and Mike had talked about things, and he was like, what do you think about, kind of joining collective, and kind of gave me some background about, what the Vanguards were about. Because I knew them as the Vanguards, but I didn't really know the backstory and like,
Yeah, yeah,
kind of what the vision was. Um, but I'll say initially I was excited about it. Um, I would be remiss if I didn't say how much I appreciate CLS and the relationships that it's brought to me.
Yeah.
So it just felt like one of those things like, oh, this could be something really dope, to be a part of something that's bigger than just you and just bigger than just the solo effort. Um, so, I appreciate Truth of really helping me stay grounded during that time. Like, yo, no matter how you feel about it, like initially just pray about it. Pray about it, talk about it to your wife, see how you feel about things, and then like we can circle back on it. And there was no pressure from that, but yeah, initially I was excited. I was like, you know what, let me just make sure that like everything lines up, and yeah, fast forward, here we are.
that's
I ain't
dope.
gonna
That's
lie, B. That's what Truth told GB, but I was tampering, dog. I was, I was tampering like,
I,
yo, bro,
I
you thought about it yet? Yo, are you
I
good?
told this man don't bother him. I was like, look, I told him to pray about it, talk with your wife, take a few days to, really think through it, no pressure. And then Mike is like, Mike go get his word in.
I'm like, don't
right,
tell Truth
right.
I hit you up.
Hey,
You
but that's
still
why,
think about it, though.
they
Still
had,
pray about it, but don't tell him I hit you up.
that's why you had me reach out to GB though, because Bill it was a much easier. It was like we both had different pathways. When the funny thing is, we all were cool and have worked together
Right.
without any of this context, like a lot. Um, like GB and I got we got at least a couple records, if not more. I can't even remember at this point, but like and then Bill he got all our records. Y'all haven't even heard, like just the ones that are out is a lot, but like, bro, he got other stuff that y'all ain't even heard yet. That's crazy. So
Nice,
we already
nice.
got chemistry. So the thing that's dope about adding them is because we already have chemistry with these guys. We know
Yeah.
already where we stand. All of us can work with each other. And we've heard like GB and Bill already have a record. It was incredible. I got to be on the part 2 of the record that they did and had to match that incredible record. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like they already have something. So adding them in is like seamless.
Got you, got you. So Bill B, you said, well, Truther said that it was easier that connection to get Bill B on the train, so to speak, was a little bit easier. So from your perspective, Bill, like how did that land for you?
I'm gonna tell you, when I got that message from Mike, I'm not gonna lie, um, I've been waiting for this day my entire life.
Crazy.
Hilarious.
No, but for real, man. When it comes to Mike and Truth, one thing I admired was their work ethic, and it's something that they actually helped me with just developing as an artist. I've had several conversations with them. I've worked a lot with them, various projects, and lots of music. So for me, it was a no brainer because I had already built chemistry with them.
Right.
Like Truther said, like I have records with Mike and Truther of my own that nobody has heard yet. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's one of those things where it's like I work with these guys all the time. I saw what they were doing with Vanguards. I foresaw it um being something amazing just from seeing the two of them work together and seeing how much they polish and sharpen one another. And it was a no-brainer for me to jump in on the bandwagon because they've been doing the same thing for me that they've been doing for each other. So
that's dope. That's dope. And this is,
Yes,
to
sir.
me, this really just speaks to like the community aspect of CHH. And I know it doesn't, it won't get the clicks, it won't get the views, like hearing like a good story how something comes together. But like even encouraging for me. It's something that I might have mentioned to Truth and Mike Wise back the interview beforehand. I think before we got started, I was just telling them how like how this platform landed for me, how I got on this platform, and like my whole deal now is like I'm just a stagehands. Like I didn't have a radio background. I don't feel like I'm the best communicator. I have all these things of why I don't feel like I'm qualified, but God gave me this platform. So um, God just told me earlier this year that like, hey, like you're the stagehands. Whoever I ask you to bring on stage and bring to this platform, like that's what I'm calling you to do. And it's like, and me building, for me to build, it's not. I won't be able to maybe use some of the tactics that work that are actually good tactics to grow. I just have to do what God's called me to do. So it's cool to look back and see how a slow build, like Vanguard's one came out in 2022, right? 2 years ago.
Yep.
And
Yep.
like, but from like Bill's perspective, he when he heard it, he knew it was something big. You guys, the actual people who were doing it, were just kind of like, we got an album called Vanguards. So
I
it's
don't even
just
like that joint for real.
Yeah,
well, it was
looking
one of my
back at
favorite
that, it's
EPs of
funny.
22. Go
I'm,
ahead,
Yeah.
I'm
Truther.
Oh no, Bill, you can go ahead.
Yeah, now what I was gonna say too is that just real quick, and then Truth can go is that one thing that I told them, when we joined the collective, and something I've thought about even from the moment that Vanguards, what I mean, was developing, just them two as a group is like us as individual artists and as a collective, like we get to be the mark. You know what I mean? Like we get to leave the mark behind that, the influences we had in CHH have created for us. I had influences like Yavis and Taylor and Armand, things like that. And so whoever has influenced them, like if you think about, the groups and collectives that have gone before we have, like we get our opportunity as the vanguards to leave our mark in CHH. And that's another thing that really pulled me, into wanting to join the collective and be able to do something special just for the history of CHH because it's a rich history, whether people like it to believe it or not. So yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you speak my language, man. You got something?
No, I was just gonna
Like,
say, and I was just more so shocked, just chopping it up with so since we, got everybody on board for Vanguards, we've been chopping it up, different things, and throwing different ideas out. One thing that shocked me that I didn't really realize, and I think I was underselling what Mike had pitched to me with the collective, and maybe we just didn't have enough time to think about it because we were in rollout mode. But like when they were talking about it, Bill and GB, they're like, man, we trying to leave a mark on the space, like some of the past people that really impacted our lives and stuff like that, like Collision Records, Reach, and
yeah,
all of them people. And I'm like,
Hmm.
yo, I didn't even think that. I haven't even gotten to that point where I was even thinking about it like that. I was just more so like, yeah, we could do something really dope because we all work well together. And that's as far as
right.
it's went for me. But hearing them say that really changed my perspective and made me have to take a back seat and be like, you know what? Let's build this the right way. Let's get things cemented. Let's not just do it haphazardly. Let's not like numbers matter, but let's not get too caught up in numbers to where we're not, impact isn't, as like a focal point. So I want the impact to be the main thing, the impact of
Got it.
lives, the message of what we have, and just how we do it. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I want to say.
Yeah, yeah. Impacting is definitely more important than impressing. And I feel like that's one thing that one of my homies, shout out to Big Lank, me and him talk, we talk offline all the time. He's always talking about having impact over impressing people and impacting your tribe versus trying to impress people who aren't even, that's not who
That's
God even
dope.
called you to talk to. But you over here trying to
Mhm.
impress people, and the people God's called you to impact are over here, like they're waiting to hear from you to have that the sound that or the voice that God's given you to speak to them, and you're over here doing something different. So definitely super dope. So all you guys are in here are sports guys, and I heard Mike say something a little bit earlier, and I see Mike, he ready to pounce. I'm not gonna go that route. I'm not gonna go that route. I'm just gonna say this: as you are forming this collective, you mentioned like trying to get your draft picks in. Was this more of like, did you look at this more like college where you're kind of recruiting people, or was this kind of like an NBA GM who's like kind of moving behind the scenes to kind of put this team together? So was it more like the college scene or more like the NBA scene or the professional sports scene?
But we got we're in a fantasy league, right? My team named Howie Roseman. I mean, GM. You know. Yeah, so, hey, yo, I think I hit Truth up with a trade today. I hit Bill up trying to see what's up with a trade. I
That's
hit
real.
GB up.
And Dylan.
But GB be
Yeah,
acting funny.
facts.
He'll be trying to trade nobody. I mean, he be trying to hold on to his players. But I say that to say like I really thought of it like yo, um, from my perspective was like if I was building a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, these would be two of the first people off the board. And
Absolutely.
Got
so
you.
when I was telling Truth, I'm like, yo, if NCO, I'm gonna be honest, if NCO decide to come back out and add some more people, then
You're right.
it might be one of these guys. So we might want to jump on that before they even think about it, right? Adam group over there is doing their thing. We don't know, but like again, in my head, I don't know why I felt that way. But that's what I see. I see that group of collective small pockets of CHH coming together and doing what they do in their own sections of the space and in the country and the world.
Yeah.
But I was just like, you know what? Let's get our team now. And these are the people that I suggest.
Yeah. It probably was more like a free agent type of situation. And here's the thing, we talk in these terms, but like one of the things we really made clear to like Bill and GB was like, yo, we're gonna, there's a foundation that we have with Vanguards, but it's not like to the point where like it's us, it's Mike and I, and then it's y'all. No, it's like all four of us now. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things I really did like, or I would even say love about what Indie Tribe did was like they had uh, Deal, they had Mowgli already. Then
Mm-hmm.
you add in John and you add in Mike LV, and then you add in Tori to it. But it's like I don't
Yeah.
look at any individual, or I don't look at it as like no big deal. And then his guys, I look at everybody pretty evenly. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying like they all have bring different things to the table, but it's like everybody feels even, like it's just Indie Tribe. And it's like, yo, we don't want it to just be this is Mike and Truth, this collective. No, this is Bill's collective. This is GB's collective.
That's
And so
dope.
it was like, in a sense, it was like they were like free agents. They're like, yeah, man, we have a relationship with them already. We see what they bring to the table. We see how they execute, the professionalism, the output in which they can do it, and the quality. And it's like, yo, we're already working together. And we want to make it very clear to them, like, hey, your individual stuff matters, and we don't want to take
Yeah.
away from your individual stuff. We want to complement it, kind of like a
Yeah.
Voltron type of approach. We come together, do something even bigger than what we could do individually, but it should complement our individual efforts. So we should be just as strong. We should be strong in our own right as individual artists, and then when we get together, it's like it should just take off.
That's dope. That's dope. So it's funny, like after well, keeping on the sports theme, I just want to say like I felt like I felt like I dropped a Woj bomb because like I knew a little bit before. So I got to like be one of the
Yeah,
first ones to kind of start covering this. So this just to kind of keep on that whole sports theme, I was kind of like, oh, I actually had some, and that's one of those small things that like when I was starting to get into this space, when I just had a YouTube channel, and then I started to really kind of get taken in by the CHH community, I was like, I would
hmm
love to be a part. It was one of the first things I said. I was like, I want to be a part of like a rollout. I want to help people like roll out a
Wow.
project. But you have to actually know people and be in and around to get that type of information. So what I wanted to do was in the meantime, I was like, okay, I just want to be that person when the album comes out to be able to catch it and be able to like give it some more, because you spend so much energy and money getting the album done, or first getting the beat, the time to write, then you gotta drop the track, or you gotta put down your vocals and you gotta mix it. You got all this stuff, and like I can imagine that y'all are exhausted about time y'all have it coming
It's
on
facts.
DSP. You just kind
So
of
that's
like,
why
Facts.
most artists don't market, don't
Yeah.
and
promote their stuff.
so
Yeah.
that's where I feel like that's where I want to come in and say like, okay, what can I do to help these artists market their ministry?
Call
So
GB, call
Oh,
GB.
GB.
all right, that's what, and that's the dope thing
You got
about
an
it.
idea right now for no reason. Look at it.
Yeah, GB.
No reason. No reason.
GB.
Yeah, what you can do is go in the backyard and sit on your like.
Yeah,
No reason.
Hey, that's what's up. I
that's
definitely
facts.
need the ideas.
Love that, man. Love it.
So if you ever have any, feel free to slide on my way.
Of
Uh, but
course.
it but it's super dope just to be able to, because like I already like play your music. Like I played No Slides when it came out on my show. Like that was one of my HCR debut songs of the day. I played Take the Train. I play songs that are like, is that a radio song? I'm not sure if that's a radio song or not. I'm like, I have a radio show, it's a song. I'm putting it on my show.
Let's get
Therefore,
it.
it's a radio song. Like
Let's
that's
go.
that's my
Yeah.
approach, and I know that like that may be unconventional, and I know that there may be somebody on the radio or in their car listening and being like, "This don't kind of sound like a radio joint," but it's like this is like I said, this is the tribe that I'm supposed to impact. So I'm going to do my best to impact my tribe versus
Yeah.
impressing the crowd. So just some of the other songs that I was started to make like a web. So I drew all four of your names, and I started drawing arrows of the songs y'all had with each other. So this is what I got. So No Slides, GB, and Truther. And then if you go Truther to Mike Wise, they got a bunch of them together. And then if you go Mike Wise to GB, you have Take the Train. And then Take the Train. Now, I was struggling with GB and Bill B. Y'all have a song together. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I couldn't write it.
Yeah,
Knucklehead. Knucklehead.
Knuckleheads.
Yeah.
And the
Yep.
funny thing is, it's like I remember listening to that mug because like I like going to the park and shooting around sometimes when I'm game playing in my show. And I feel like that was one of the songs that when I would, hey Mike, I don't appreciate it. You on my platform, you making faces when I said I was getting shots up. I can push the little button.
I just thought of the meme with a big bull. The show tonight gonna be fire.
Mike, we ain't gonna talk about putting shots up, brother. We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
funny.
I know
so Knuckleheads. There was a Knuckleheads too as well. Who all was on that one?
Yeah, true.
being truther.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's another connection. So
And
yeah,
then
so it's
me, Bill, and GB got a song. Let's be honest.
Honest.
Yep.
Yep.
that's right. That's right.
That's a
So
that's
it's
a
like,
low key one.
yeah, so it's like y'all all have been working and working and working. So it really does make sense. And it makes sense why you guys have the chemistry that you guys do. So we're about 30 minutes in. Let's take a little bit of time, and I'm just gonna like just drop a couple few snippets from some of the songs for
sir.
you guys that don't know. We are sitting here with the newest collective in CHH. They are the Vanguards, and they have a special project out on Bandcamp right now. That's not the deluxe version, but the full version. You need to go buy it at Bandcamp, and I'm not going to just say something that I haven't done myself. I've went and bought the project on Bandcamp. Actually, I just bought it today, and I know that I've been
God,
helping.
appreciate it.
I've been helping to promote it, but I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm gonna. This is going back like when it dropped on Bandcamp. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna have another opportunity to talk to them. So I want to be like super fresh when I listen to it. So I didn't buy it then, but today I plan on doing it on Sunday and listen to it throughout the week. But life be lifing. So I did it today. So this is probably pretty fresh for me. As I was listening through it, I dropped some cue points. So we'll start off with the very first song. And with me saying all that, go to Bandcamp. Go to Bandcamp, look it up. Vanguards
sir.
2 is the project, and get them some coins. So with that being said, let's just hop into some of my cue points. This is the very first song, V2, and let's go ahead and hop into this first cue point.
You've been an outcast your whole life. Well, now you grafted in. The Lord will love you if you played the flute and never rapped again. Big boy, living idle wild just to impress your friends. You had a vision. Devil sent his minions to attack your lens. Now you refuse to start your purpose, and that leads to a tragedy.
All right. So that was you, Mike, right?
Yes.
All right. So that's V2, and I think man, I had a note here, but it's gone now. But like that's like the intro of the project. Is there a reason why you guys went with V2 to kick off this project?
With that song or with what we talked about?
With that song, both actually. Both of them.
So the beat in itself, we felt like when we first heard the beat, we automatically knew just by the that it built up and everything like that, that we wanted to start off with that, and then it transitions with some instrumental stuff that we thought like built up to something like to get you, like we built you up. I did my verse, and then we had another build up leading into Truth's verse, and we just kind of wanted to show, like, obviously from a rap perspective, we kind of wanted to people welcome back type of thing. You know what I mean?
Right,
like welcome back, and we here, right? But just kind of like really from a musical perspective, I know for myself, and a lot of things that we talked about throughout the project was sounds, right? Having certain spaces and certain sounds and transitions to captivate the listener, and so I was big on that throughout my part of my input on the project, and so that's kind of my perspective of it.
No, I echo all the same things. I mean, this is the funniest thing to me because I don't think I ever did a project where the very first song that was started on was literally the intro. Like we did that song, we knew it was the intro when we got the beat.
Oh, gotcha.
We knew it the whole time. We knew it wasn't gonna be anything but the intro, and that's the
Okay.
first time I ever did that. Usually the intro is like close to the last thing you
On
might do.
Vanguards, our intro was the last song we made.
It was actually one of my favorite songs on the last one. Yeah, No More Tears. I think I don't even know how to say it like without sounding boastful, but like we just felt like, we were experts at the time when we started this project. We knew exactly what we wanted. We just needed the right sounds we just needed the beats. That's really it, to be honest, right, Mike? Like we just needed the production. We had the lyrics. We knew that we were sending each other messages about the message we want to get across on the songs, like the topics. We didn't have song titles, but we had concepts for them, and we just needed to go through and find the right production that could like highlight what we were going for. And I thank God we were able to do that ultimately. And the writing was that was the easiest part. Like it was, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Let's get one more. And there it goes.
God, we only need one election. If either way ain't no other direction made in this image, but no reflection. We flexing with the wrong preconceptions. You building riches on earth, but ain't got no place up in heaven. You heathen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that was Truth's verse on. That was after, like you said, like the little bit of the beat change on there. So I want to keep it moving pretty quickly because it's about 10 songs on here. And I want to get you guys off here at a good time. So let's keep things moving. Let's keep things moving.
The devil with Prada when he go to church, and the church just seem to let him in. She a prophetess, she a lesbian. They turn TV into ESPN, playing games till a guy pop out. If you got eyes, better watch out, cause they gon' get slain by the spirit for playing with the spirit of God. I do not doubt.
Yeah, that was one of those ones that, like, again, I remember where I was at when I heard that, because like those are some pretty sharp bars, and it's like, and there's a certain human right now that's saying that CHH don't talk about certain topics.
I was just gonna say,
but if you know what you're talking about, you know that there's plenty of people who talk about it.
Listen, I be going to a lot of different places in my lyrics, and if you listen to any Mike Wise, you'll hear that, man. Like I see some pretty bold stuff, I believe. Pretty often, and these guys be like, chill. There's some stuff ready to release yet, man. Like, but yeah, definitely,
bruh. I was like, I heard that bar. I was like, dang, Mike, man, I'm trying to have a radio hit, bro. You gotta go down there. No, I'm just playing. That's what I love about what we do, because at the end of the day, you know, people can say what they want to say about this space. I know for a fact Vanguards knows how to incorporate the word in verses.
Yep.
And we don't even have to necessarily, like, I don't get why people get so caught up in, like, I gotta say Ephesians 5:11. I gotta say, you know, Matthew 5:16. Like, why do I have to say what the verse says verbatim?
You're right.
And where it's found in a rap,
Right.
for it to, like, it's a lot of ways you can articulate biblical truth. And
It's
if you're
like
reading the Bible, you can quickly catch
you can pick it
like,
up.
especially on Vanguards too, because like if you really listen to the verses, there's so many references to things in scripture, but the way we do it actually makes you it actually makes you think. It's almost like parabolic in a sense, where it's like we come up with like a parable, and it's clearly scripture. And if you listen, if you even just listen to the lyrics just for a second, you'll be like, oh yeah, he's talking about that one verse, but the way he flipped it into a modern context, like contextualizing the gospel, basically.
Yep. And that's I just don't understand why some people don't allow people to deliver things the way that it makes sense for them. Like it's almost like you're feeding a baby and you have to like get it on the spoon. You got to guide it to their mouth. It's like some Christians need it that way, but then some people, they don't need it that way and they're not going to receive it that way. If you're beating them over the head necessarily with a scripture.
Go ahead, Mike. Man. It's legalism. You know what I mean? That legalistic mentality is the reason why. And so some people are afraid of the Spirit of God. And so what I mean by that is if I say the scripture exactly every single time and I only go by that, then it's like I'm kind of walking this line, and I in my head I can't go wrong because I'm saying the scripture. But if I'm out of context and I don't allow the Spirit of God to bring that scripture to life for me, then I'm still off. Right. And it doesn't have no effect on my life. Right. But I'm afraid of the Spirit of God, because then it's like, shoot, there's some revelation into this, and this revelation I can't find it looking in this particular. I can find it, but I can't find it. Right. Yeah. Because I don't, again, not understanding. Right. We do all this reading, we do all this studying, we do all this stuff just to not know God. There's a lot of theologians out there, but not a lot of true believers walking around, man. We always say not many. That's true. The new term for me.
It's too many.
Too many, not too many. You know what I mean? It's not too and so it's like, unfortunately, you know, we be afraid of God, and I remember as a writer, an early writer of Christian music, I remember God telling me straight up, like, yo, stop hiding behind me. Like straight up. And I was like, huh? Right. And it was like, yo, like you using all my stuff, which is cool, but nobody know who you are. But your life is supposed to be an epistle.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yo, like if I'm only talking about B+, if I'm only talking about Truther, and I'm only talking about GB and Bill, but I'm the person speaking, but I don't talk, they don't know who I am from my personality, then it's like, how can they really connect with y'all?
That's true.
That ties in the testimonies, man. It's like music is a great platform to share testimonies, to share stories, you know, to share truth, all of that. I definitely agree.
Yeah. And Mike, you said something, and we're gonna get back to some music. You mentioned about legalism and knowing so much word. One of my favorite stories in the Bible that talks about this is the book of Job. Like his friends were quoting scripture to him at the wrong time. And it was just like, they were drilling. They're like, you must have did something wrong. Like they were like convinced that like, yeah, you did something. Like there's no way. And so from what I got from that story is that like you can go to somebody while they're going through something, and you can quote scripture to them, and you can be completely in the wrong. But it's like, I'm saying the scripture. It's like you don't know what time it is. You don't know what season they're in, and you're speaking this out of season. And I feel like a lot of that happens, especially with like these Christian YouTube channels that like to do nothing but be an ambulance and stake out your favorite celebrity Christian and try to bust them doing something. So, but let's
Yeah.
get back to some music. Let's get back, and I want to highlight this feature on BTS, and there it goes.
Cause the way that y'all be moving make me nervous. I pray that we don't look beneath the surface. All these things that seem to glitter really worth it. Burn up all your idols in an open flame. Tearing down the strongholds and lift up the cave.
Another well, first of all, like Scribe is just a beast. Like I love, like I think he
Oh
just had a
yeah.
tweet about how he has like over 100 features, and that's
Yeah.
like that's just so crazy. Go ahead, GB.
He's a cheat code. Is
Yeah.
literally like, if you feel like there's a track that's just missing something, Scribe is probably the first person, at least realize that
Be
people don't
burning.
know, because he's gonna nail it every
That's funny coming from GB.
every. Man, I'm trying to catch up to him. Like Scribe is amazing, but I think even with that, like once you get to know Scribe as a person, you realize he's even more amazing person
He
than
really
Yeah.
is.
his artistry. So it just makes me appreciate what he does even more.
Yeah, shout out to Scribe. I had the opportunity of interviewing him earlier this year, and I was blown away. I was just like, he was in the middle of like going to a church. He was at a hotel, but he still stopped and made time for me. I was just like, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. So shout out to Scribe Music. Let's keep going. Let's hop into this next one. Actually, let's skip Bonjour and let's hop to Breakthrough.
Was grinding too hard, I needed a breakthrough. Mama told me there's not a single trial you can't pray through. Easy for folks to hate you, don't listen when they underrate you. You read the prayer and the Jesus are waiting for people to praise you. They cage you when you step out of line and call you egregious. But my God, he made me prestigious. That's how I know I'm a genius. I ain't gotta be the smartest in the room for me to know you the farthest from assuming that you understand.
It was the sample, it was the bass line, and then like it was just that was a nice
Yeah.
and it was a nice change of pace too. I believe this was the second single, and it was nice to get like that change up to like
That's Mike's favorite track.
got it.
No, he joking.
He
We
likes the
argued over
song,
that-
but yeah.
we argued over that track, B.
Really. Well, let's hear
Yeah.
let's hear.
It ain't
a little
worth
bit of your
it ain't
part.
worth going into it. Yeah.
Well, let's at least listen to a little bit of Mike's part.
You might sound the same, but we in different lanes. I heard them gas you up, but just a different grade. When I sound exchange, it's a different pay, but ain't no competition. It's a mission game. And it's my pleasure to serve. They think this Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
And it's just something in my heart, like Michelin.
He
The bars are
slid.
evident.
He slid on that joint.
Yeah, really did.
Shout out
Yeah,
to Bill, man. I gotta shout out to Bill, man, because he's like our resident trap expert, man. So
okay.
and me getting into that bag, I'm like, yo, help me out. Like I knew where I wanted to go, but rapping in that certain key, in a certain cadence was easy to write to, but then actually fleshing that out, like the way that it sounded in my head, I'm like, yo, what is missing? And Bill definitely was help coach that out. So I was able to go back in and kind of re-record some stuff and everything. So I appreciate him for that.
Nice. Yeah, so we also had the interlude in there. You talked about in the intro, well, as we started listening to the project about just having like spaces and breaks in the album, and I thought that was really broken up really well. But it also was a little bit of a taste because the extended versions of One Time / Mercy are on the Bandcamp version. So I thought that was pretty. Well, actually, I segued really quickly. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, so
I got you.
But yeah, so the next song was One Time / Mercy, and yeah, it's just I wasn't going to, but let's listen to a little bit of that too. It's hard when I finally got y'all here.
Hey, bro, just say it, bro. The whole project is fire. That's all you gotta say.
The whole project
is
fire.
You can't skip a record.
I'm speaking that real to you. I'm praying that appeals to you. When you in your feels, you need to chill. Don't turn to the pills you use. Don't turn to the drink that you drink. Don't turn to that porn to feel love. I pray next time you turn to the God that you say that you trust.
Again, if you hear anybody say that we ain't talking about real stuff over here in Christian hip hop, they are not listening. Just if that's the case, just go to Bandcamp and gift them this project. As a matter of fact, I might need to gift this project to somebody in particular, so they can hear what's really going on. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
I look around and see a bunch of clowns that want to rob me for a couple dollars and some 9-laters. But my guy, he recognized me, so he didn't want my paper. He told him I was cool as a favor, and I kept it pushing. What if I was a stranger that thought alone had me looking over my shoulders? What's drugs without the deal?
Yo, this my joke, bro. But what's funny is I always, because that's a true story, so I always pictured Truth walking down the street with some 9-laters. like I hope they don't take these Joes, but I was looking forward to these.
Goodness.
Yeah,
that's a true story.
Yeah, it's a true story.
Gosh, over some 9-laters.
To be fair, I don't remember what was in my pockets, but the point was I ain't had no money in my pockets. But you know how it is.
Okay, I was going to ask what flavor.
I know for a fact I went to the gas station and got something, but I don't remember for a fact that it was 9-laters and stuff. But
that's crazy that it's a real story.
Everything else to the story is legit. That legit happened.
Man, I've never been in that position before. And praise God. All right, so let's go ahead and hop to the next track. Make It Known, featuring Bill B. So let's just get I'm gonna hit three quick points on this song, and then where do I want to start with? Let's start here.
I can testify this truthfully, been planted in community. It's got me growing fruitfully. Through scrutiny and unity, through cruelty to coolly. Congruency got fluency when brothers live life prudently. Yeah, we've been together like an orchestra. Ordained by his oracle, they asking where the aura from. We carrying the light like a menorah does. But we keep our lamps trending burning because we know he's sure to come. Accountable to one another is how we keep the order.
Then I stop it. Oh my God.
I stopped it. The second you started to say it, I was like, I got to get Mike back. But yeah, Bill,
crazy.
Talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about that real quick.
Yeah, man. So I can't remember if this was before. This was actually before they asked me to be in Vanguards. They sent me this and asked me for this feature. And
this was the tryout. No, I'm joking. I said this is the tryout. No, I'm joking.
But listen, so I listened to this record, and it was the first they sent me the beat before anything was actually ever composed. And when they finally sent me, you know what I mean, like a rough an idea, it was pretty easy for me to pen this verse for the simple fact that like I could literally think about my relationship with them and with TLS and how like they were sharpening me and growing. So like literally from that space is where, you know what I mean, I just began to like dig up, you know what I mean, like the thoughts and ideas and feelings I had about, you know, the relationship and the community that I had built with them, you know what I mean? So they probably don't know that that's where I grabbed that inspiration from, but it was literally from the place of like, yo, like these dudes have been sharp. Like this is gonna be a no-brainer, you know what I mean? Because I've gotten to this point in my artistry and my relationship with God, you know, and so many other areas of my life because I have such like a strong community. So
that's dope. Man. That's good. Man. That's good to hear. Let's keep going.
When I was a child, I didn't learn how to fly a kite. I got high off loud to get away from silent nights. See, when fear comes, you got two choices, fight or flight. So to cope with my life, I turned into Pilot Mike. I was traumatized. Nobody was by my side. The feeling when you're abandoned by people you idolize. In this isolation, and that turns into paranoia. Think everyone's hating, even people that's in your corner. But that's not the case, and bro, they really...
Man, I'm telling y'all, go cop this project. There are absolutely no misses. There's no wasted verses, wasted bars. None of that. Let's keep going.
We make it known. I know you thought I forgot, but with God I never forget. Got memories of us kicking it. I thought we was legit, but it was just a click. Say the wrong thing and watch them split. And if you think for yourself, they act like you don't exist. I caught you bluffing when I bring it up. You say it's always something. Claim that you in love with God, but you really in love with front. And I'm confronting all the lies. They think I'm heresy hunting, but I'm really showing Satan. He pushing the wrong buttons.
Ooh.
Gritty Truth was always
I was finna say, bro. Gritty Truth is a different bag, bro. I'm gonna tell you. Listen,
that's Southside people right there coming out.
Southside.
I had heard pretty much the entire project except for like, yeah, I pretty much heard the entire project before it dropped, and like I had learned every word to every song before it even dropped on Bandcamp, bro. Like listening to like Truth to Get in That Gritty Bag was absolutely insane to me, bro. Like Truth in That Pocket is crazy, dog. Like,
Yeah.
man.
You know what, Mike? It's crazy because me and Mike work obviously a lot. I mean, that's no secret. But like, I go and you can ask him. Like, there are times where I'm like, bro, I ain't trying to work with you, bro, because we work too much. I want when we get together to really be like a moment. I don't want it to be oversaturated. I mean, we gonna work together. It just is what it is. But man, in that time period where we weren't, man, he got considerably grittier with his like approach. and so I came into V2 just thinking like, man, like I gotta add something new to my bag. Like I got if he gonna be barking, then I gotta bark with him, man, because I can't go out just like what I normally would. Or I might actually, I might get washed this time around. So I
Hey,
had to
hey, hey,
I
B,
had
this
to
is
make
what I'm
sure.
telling. B, remember we talked about it? You up, bro? You up?
He's a cube.
You on cue? It's your turn.
I don't.
No, I was talking about B plus.
Oh yeah, got you. Yeah. Oh, I was about to say something. I just lost my
What
train
he
of
was
thought.
saying, nice, cool. What he was saying, what Bill, what Mike was saying was, this is the point where B plus got to pick who smoked who on the project.
Oh.
Here we go.
Moving on. One time,
Good answer. Good
Mike
answer.
Wise has said something on there, and I want to pick up right there.
One time for the if you could see it and you believe it, then it's true, bro. This season, more than reading, we gotta do, bro. Cause faith talk without that faith walk is for fools, bro. Everybody big dog till it's time to meet Cujo.
I love the Cujo line. That's a throwback. I was terrified of that movie. I think I saw like 30 seconds of it, and I was just like, nah, we're not gonna we're not gonna do Cujo.
Bro, that's funny.
Yeah, so that's from the extended version of One Time, and now let's get a snippet of Mercy. And then let's get into the Bonjour remix after that.
Words sharper than knives, they call me truth of the pillars. Seen pillars come crashing down. That's what you get with pillow talk. If she ain't wifey, then you might get smoked. That cigarillo talk, the swish is never sweet. Pops told me he sold a couple keys. For me, I give the keys for free, cause my God, he subtract the fees. I'm from a city where shooters is bipolar. Took a look over my shoulders, 3 soldiers is crossing over. To the street that I was walking, it's about 5 or 6 of them. When I had class with, the others was plotting and getting closer.
Yeah, so that is from the extended version of Mercy. So yeah, this is I keep saying it, but I'm happy to be sitting here talking with you guys because I want y'all to clip this as much as you can and get the word out, because I really need people checking this out, because this is what CHH is all about. It's all about the community, and you can hear the community in the songs. You can hear the transparency in the songs. Just like even going back up to Make It Known, like we've all been there. We've all been there to a point to where we're like, man, like I'm not sure of the community that's around me. I'm not sure. I thought this was something else, but apparently it's not. So like now I don't even want to jump back into this thing. Like being completely honest, like me and my wife are going through our first marriage small group in 9 years. Because like stuff kind of went sideways. So you just kind of pump faking a little bit, like, man, like, and then also with me, like I'm starting to really get back into serving at my church. When I was living in Cincinnati, I worked at my church. And then like things can go sideways. And now you're like, and I use the analogy of like, again, another sports analogy, because like that's just what I live by. So like for me, my whole life, ever since I was a teenager all the way up until like 8 years ago, like when it came to ministry, I was on the court. I was on the field. I was always doing ministry, from campus ministry to young adult ministry, teen ministry. I've always been working. And then it was just like, after moving down here to Texas, I was like, I'm coming off the court. I'm going up to the nosebleeds. I'm still here, but I'm just going to sit here and watch the game. But I feel like God's been moving me down the arena. Then I was sitting behind the bench, like, and now I've been on the end of the bench now. So now I come in and I serve every once in a while at the church. But God, I feel like God's just like, it's time, like the horn's about to sound. I need you to pull off those warm-ups. I need you to get back in the game. And I feel like for me, like that song "Make It Known" is probably my favorite one on here. It's hard to say my favorite one, but because I really like the Bonjour remix. And speaking of the Bonjour remix, that's what we about to check out real quick.
It's the
That second
remix.
verse
I see
crazy.
his blood on the doorpost. I gave him room, he took a whole house like a foreclosed. Learn to parse the message like it's Morse code. Make him replay it like a sports show. Let's go. And the Lord knows first things first. He's who I'm seeking. And every morning his first taste be sharper than Steve.
Fight demons that possess the heat is the form of reason to be their own God. You ain't even decent and think you Jesus.
God don't have you begging for mercy like see who
They
play.
think we ludicrous because we move whenever he do say.
But he don't play. Don't we know that he moves
And
play?
he fashioned us in his image, that's why we choose
Hold up,
faith.
he fashioned us in his image. That's why we choose faith.
But he don't play, though we know that he moves clay.
They think we ludicrous because we move.
I can't turn it off.
Saved, but God will have you begging for mercy like Steve who play. Let's go. Bonjour, you rocking with the Vanguards, you moving like a dance off. They don't want to stand off. Bonjour.
Oh, you let it ride. Let's go.
And this
I was
joint is-
about to say. I was
I
just
tried
about
to
to
turn it
say.
off.
Let it cook. Let it cook.
Mentally, I turned it off like 3 times, but like I just couldn't.
You gotta get a snippet
Good
of that
luck.
second verse though.
Yeah.
Baby, when you thought we was storming.
Somebody wanted the doorman, they kicking the doors in. These 4 men stormed in when they joined forces. Take
Cause never alarm us. I'm not worried about what they say to me. It's say la vie. I speak to the Father and I say what I need. I say my peace with Satan and say his statements. I sing and weep, then take my peace and save for the Savior sees while I stay in need.
Who you talking to?
They thought it was nice. Insurance agency saying that we could offer advice regarding your life. The flavor's fresh when following Christ. Get a taste of freedom, speech and season. We the salt for the pride.
Paris Olympics when you picture how we race for the prize.
Some wanna be gymnasts, look how they flipping. Some wanna meddling vibes.
A legend like Phelps, but they never felt it. Must be the lapse in their mind.
Preparing to see the rivers of feet should carry a beast. Remember who carried the temple, who carried the temple, who carried
And this is crazy. This is crazy. It really is. So
These brothers here.
yeah, like so. This is my question. So we got DMV, we got DFW, we got Philly, we got Chicago. Like, how is it that much chemistry over those many thousands of miles?
Well, for starters, you know, we were able to link. Me, Bill, and Mike were able to link up once already in person.
I got you.
So we got that. We still gotta get GB now in the mix with it. So we're gonna have to set up another meetup sometime. Hopefully next year, maybe we'll talk about it. But I ain't gonna lie, man. You know, typically, whether it be social media or whatever, I'd be like, you know, that stuff ain't real. You know, we don't know people. But like, man, with group chats and stuff like that, man, it'd be like consistent conversations with each other.
Yeah.
Like we chopped it up about personal things, man. We've argued, we've, said compliments to each other, made fun of each other. We done went there, you know, at one point or another to the point where it's like, yeah, man, we legit brothers and we still getting to know each other. We don't know everything. We don't tell everybody everything, but we say enough, I think, for us to get like, we real with each other as far as like our personality. So if I'm gonna crash out, you're gonna see me crash out, you know, probably not me, or GB, but definitely Mike and Bill are more likely to crash out than me and GB. I think my version of crash out is
crash out ball, man.
My version of crash out is just sending a whole bunch of paragraphs that nobody read. So, but yeah, we just chop it up, man. And I think we just connect with each other. Some of us, we got some similar life experience. Like Bill and I kind of came up from a similar denomination. You probably can relate to that too. We're more apostolic. So we were able to really connect maybe over the last year or two over some of those things and laughing about that. And I think just chopping it up with Mike, you know, Mike is like a lot of my friends I had in high school, but he the only one that got, you know, the saved for like type of guy. And that's what I love about Mike. Like I had homies like him that would like, you know, help me step out my comfort zone. And I didn't have that a lot when I, you know, gave my life, you know, really dedicated my life to Christ. So getting Mike kind of back in the fold has really helped me just step out my comfort zone and just, you know, really just kind of loosen up and be myself. And then GB is like another version of me because he is excellent. Like this man really is attention to detail. That's kind of how I am, you know, I operate. But he's like that times two, I think. I think he's more attention to detail than I am, to be honest.
Oh, dope. So GB, like, so your I guess, what are you looking to uniquely add to like this Vanguards collective? What's like your unique identifier you think?
I think it's my versatility.
Okay.
That's something I always pride myself on. I think for a long time, trying to kind of figure out where I wanted to go artistically, stylistically, I've always had a hard time just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna make this type of music and that's it. I can, but I think I'm always intrigued by, different soundscapes, different styles, different um you know even subject matter, and so being able to kind of interweave all those different things, and even just you listen to like the different collaborations what I have with each of the guys here.
Yeah.
um I try to make sure that, like, to me, and any of these guys will tell you this, like, I'm always thinking about like what's gonna make this record the best record that it could be, right? And so whatever
Got
it
it.
is, I'm willing to do that. And having experimented with so many different things, like I don't necessarily have the I won't call it fear, but I would say maybe the trepidation that maybe some artists may have, like, nah, I really just do these kind of records. So like this right here, like I'm gonna just do what I normally do, but I'm gonna do it over the
Right.
speed. Nah, let's try like doing something different. And if it lands, great. And if it doesn't, like we'll figure something out. Um, but I think, yeah, just being able to bring a different kind of like flavor to the group, and what we try to do, sonically or even just like artistically. I think that's something that I really pride myself in. And that's honestly what I look forward to most is like, okay, how creative can we get?
Nice.
How many different bags can we kind of dip into and try to do something that's like defines us as vanguards, but even within that, like keeps us like evolving, right? So
Right.
it's not
Right.
okay, Vanguards, the next Vanguards project sounds like the first Vanguards project or the second Vanguard project. So trying to figure out how to like, be strong in that identity, but also stretch yourself a little bit. So yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. And Mike Wise kind of hinted at Bill B kind of helping to assist and refine when it comes to like getting into like that trap bag. So Bill, is there anything else that you would kind of identify as something that you're trying to uniquely bring to the group?
Um, I think that I'm finna make these boys rap for real. Nah, but but nah, yeah, but like in all honesty, man, like I really just want to be able to, I really want to be able to challenge, you know what I mean, like each one of them to do their absolute best. They'll tell you, bro, like um people do not know to what degree I am like blunt. Like I am very different like online versus if I have a relationship with you and I know you and you trust my critique, buddy, you are going to get my critique. Like you are like if it's dirt, if it's trash, I'm gonna tell you it's dirt, it's trash. Like redo, you know what I mean? So it- the thing about me, bro, like I'm gonna be willing to push them. You know what I mean? I know they already hold themselves to a high standard. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I still want to keep that flame under them and remind them, like, yo, like we gotta leave a mark. You know what I mean? We gotta leave a
Hmm.
mark. So let's do what we gotta do to leave that mark.
That's dope. That's dope, man. This has been a lot of fun. I don't want to keep you guys. I know some of y'all on East Coast time, so it's 11:20. But if I can grab 9 to 10 more minutes, I want to ask this question because obviously it's a whole lot of stuff going on in Christian hip hop right now, and one thing about me like my the brand of B plus and B positive, like looking at the trying to look at whatsoever things that are true of good report, like that whole thing, like that's kind of like my approach. But that doesn't mean I dug my hand in the sand and I don't see what's going on. So
Right.
I want to kind of pose this question and anybody can kind of take it because I've heard people say like part of hip hop is it being a sport, it being competition. And this is the we're looking at the extreme of it right now. Even within Christian hip hop, we're looking at one of the extremes of it. So, do you guys, how do you guys answer a question if you ever get the question of like, is there a conflict of interest? People saying like the problem with CHH is that it's HH, that it's hip hop, and that at some point the competitiveness is going to boil over to an unhealthy part, or just like people being so focused on the lyricism that they're not maybe adding as much words. So like, do you guys, for like I said, for any of you guys, do you see a conflict of interest with it being Christian and hip hop?
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, so
Go and plug your video.
Mike,
He did a
Mike
whole
see,
video
Mike
on
seen
it.
the smile on my face. So yeah, shameless plug. I literally just dropped a podcast about something
Perfect.
similar like this today. So I dropped a pod today talking about whether or not there should be diss records in Christian hip hop. But
Ah,
I did talk about the competitive aspect of hip hop, and I don't see a conflict of interest in that at all. I think that the competitive aspect of hip hop pushes each MC to be their absolute best. Mike will tell you, me and Mike have done 16 bar challenge. That they'll tell like I am the rapper that will tell you, if you challenge me, I'm going to smoke you. I don't care what you say to me. When I put that pen to pad, I'ma smoke you. So like that competitive edge pushes every MC to be
mm,
their absolute best. Now, every rapper's goal isn't the same. You may want to be the most artistic you can be. You might want to be the best lyricist. You might want to be the most melodic, whatever. But when you have that competitive aspect, you have a challenge in front of you. I think that artists fall short in that area because they don't have anything that gives them any resistance. You know what I mean? Like that
mhm,
challenge gives you a level of resistance and says you can't do this. But if you have the mindset that you can, you'll push against that resistance to do everything you possibly can to exceed at that level. So I think that, yeah, man, like you need that competitive aspect. Like Christian hip hop is still hip hop at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like we are a subgenre. We are, you know what I mean? We are a part of a culture that already existed. We don't have to adapt everything in the culture, but there are some pillars in the culture of hip hop that like this still necessary to make it good music. So
got it, got it.
yeah, man.
Uh,
Yeah.
I like, and I'm gonna have to go check that out. And what's the name of your podcast? Go ahead and plug it.
Divine Dialogue Podcast.
Got
Divine
it, got
Dialogue.
it. How many episodes in are you?
So I've been doing episodes consistently for about 4 weeks. I was a little inconsistent, but
Okay,
I'm dropping every Wednesday at 8 a.m. and I've been doing good for the last 4 to 6 weeks or so. So yeah, man, it's a pot out there today.
Yeah, we
all
gonna
right,
we gonna hold his feet to the fire to make sure he stay
Yes,
consistent.
sir.
Um,
okay. And I be having random topics and ideas. Maybe I just may float some. It may
Yeah,
spark an
whatever you
idea. So
whatever you don't want to talk about, send it to Bill because he'll chop it up.
Oh, for sure.
You know.
I just got to go through my drafts and on X because
Yeah.
a lot
I
of
did
times
want.
like, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was gonna say I did want to give my thoughts on that.
Oh no, go
I
ahead,
think
go for it, go for it.
I think we just gotta choose, man. I think there's too much passive aggressiveness,
Mhm.
Yeah,
right? And so like if you're gonna rap in the sense of like competitively, or you guys have different viewpoints and y'all want to talk that out over music, that's fine. But let's not act like we don't have a problem with each other, right? Let's not act like we don't disagree with each other. Oh no, this isn't for so and so. I'm just saying it, right? And that's been happening a lot within our space,
yeah,
where it's like when then people get upset where if someone sub tweets or sub disses someone, but then it's not then the person recognizes it, or maybe someone else puts the pieces together, and then they want to hide their hands, right? And
yeah,
that's happening from mature believers or people that's been in this space, and immature people or newer people in the space. And I just feel
yeah,
like we need to be a little bit more authentic, right? If you got a
Yeah.
problem with somebody, if it's personal, then you should hit that person up. If it's
yeah,
musical and you just want to let that out on the track, and y'all just want to talk about it, that's fine too. Again, don't compromise your walk with Christ. Don't compromise your Christ likeness within doing that. And if that's going to take place, then you shouldn't. But also don't be fake about it. No, I ain't saying nothing. That wasn't for you. That was like, and I think a lot of people do that. I think there's a
yeah,
lot of inauthenticity that's going around, and
yeah,
then that causes more division. It
Yeah.
causes more strife, and it causes more tension. And now it's gaslighting each other, and that's what essentially what's taking place.
got it, got it.
Yeah. And then the only thing I say too is like, people got to be consistent too, because a lot of the same people that won't make a diss track, I mean, they be in a group chat talking. They talk about the person
Yeah,
behind their back. You ain't making diss track, but you in the group
yeah,
chat with the homies. Giving your true opinions. All that stuff.
yeah,
And I'm not saying, again, those are private channels. What you say in private, you don't necessarily gotta say that publicly. But if you're gonna be slandering and talking about somebody in private, then I mean, don't criticize somebody that's public. You got to be consistent. So I agree
yeah,
with Mike. Like, man, you got to be consistent with whatever you're doing. I just quick. I just think that it's different lanes within regular
yep,
hip hop, let alone Christian hip hop. But for some reason, I think people just have, and it's like a pendulum where, like, I do think that there was a time in the early roots of Christian hip hop, and you could talk for days about this B plus,
yeah,
where there
yeah.
wasn't space for a certain type. Well, the wave of Christian hip hop 2012 on, there was no space for that before 2012, before the Reach Records, Lecrae, and them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just wasn't room for that. You had to, have a certain doctrine. You needed to be pretty much
Yeah,
reformed. You needed to have the people. You needed to have a clear pastor that people that could look up their doctrines in and stuff like that, to perform at
yeah,
certain churches and all that. There were doors shut, at that point, and
yeah.
the pendulum swung to where it was like, well, you can never reference Jesus and it's still Christian hip hop and it's cool. And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing, by the way, because I don't think every song needs to reference Jesus. I don't even think every song from a Christian has to be directly about Jesus. It just needs to be congruent with Christian values and a Christian worldview.
Exactly. Yeah.
But my point is, I think where it needs to go and everybody needs to be okay with is, everybody has a different lane. As long as nobody is calling good evil and evil good,
Yep.
we're in a safe space where we can make art. Or if we look at it as ministry and ministering, we're in a safe space where you can minister. All of that is good. I think the issue is, and this happens like yearly, but I think it's become a bigger issue because of some newer people over the last 3-4 years who just gave their life to Christ, but are maybe overly zealous, and they're new
Yep.
Christians, and they think they're telling people who have been, in this space and who have been fans of the space for decades, how they should go about doing their art and how this space should be when they're new to this. And I think
I agree,
I
man.
think
Price out of pocket.
there you go. And not just him, like, this happens outside of him. He's the biggest artist probably that this is happening with now, because he has a platform that is independent of Christian hip hop, but he makes quote unquote Christian hip hop. I just think what happens is that a lot of those guys, I don't know his heart, but a lot of guys like him, because we've dealt with some of those type of people. They're well intending. They just have a lot of zeal, and all they can
Yeah.
think about is ministering and preaching the gospel in whatever they do in every facet. And they don't see as much room for the type of Christian hip hop. I mean, and our music does. By the way, Mike and I, Bill and GB, we do that. We're really
Yeah.
upfront with like you can't listen to us and not tell that we're Christians. So this isn't even like speaking to our music per se. But I think it's just a lot of people don't understand that there's different lanes for everybody, as long as we're not calling good evil or evil good.
Right. I'm with it. I'm with it. And that's just. I wish that more people understood that, but at the same time, like, people are at different levels, and I can look back at a time like you were talking about, you and Bill grew up in like in the apostolic setting. Like, man, I had a season where I was a menace to anybody who was outside of the apostolic doctrine. And I was just like, I look back at some of the stuff that I said to people, and I was just like, man, I was really tripping. And I just pray to God that people come back behind me and clean up, and I can have rehab conversations and things like that. But like, so people are at different levels and different phases of the sanctification process. And after you live a little bit in the faith, you will start to realize that, like, oh, like, this is just a strong conviction that I have, like this. And there is like a story in the Bible that can support what I'm saying right now, but like, that doesn't take precedent for everything. Like, there was a time where Jesus did turn up, but there was also a time where he was just kind of like super, super gracious. And it's just like having like that discernment to know when to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this has been dope, man. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. Go to Bandcamp,
Yes.
spend,
Cop it.
and yeah,
Thanks.
You got to
I
cop
would
this
love.
project.
I would love for y'all to support it. It is on streaming now. If y'all, if you already got Spotify, you already pay your, we ain't trying to empty out your pockets too bad. So if you're already paying for a streaming service, Spotify, Apple Music, all of that is great. But if you really want to support us in a way that actually is going to make a difference, like Bandcamp, $10, that $10 goes straight to us. Everything else is just not even a whole penny, like a third of a penny,
Yeah.
So if you really want to help, Bandcamp is dope.
And 3 of those tracks is not even on the Spotify at the time.
I know.
Thanks.
So if you want to hear that remix, the full thing, I mean, you got to hit that Bandcamp up, man. Like that's where that heat is at, you know what I mean?
Yeah, y'all definitely have to let me know if y'all got all the IRC codes and all that type stuff, because I'm definitely playing that on my show this weekend. Like there's not even like there's no.
I'll say no more.
If y'all got all the digits and numbers for that, I'm gonna go ahead and get that uploaded into Holy Culture, and I'm gonna keep playing it until they put it in the until it's in the prime time slot.
Help us out, man. We need all the help we can get.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, does anybody have any parting shots before we go ahead and get out of here? I got some Qdoba that's gonna get delivered soon.
Oh, that sounds all right.
Let's get it.
You got the little
where you live at? You said you live where? What's your address again?
No,
50 minutes away.
No, this is my Qdoba, man. It's my queso.
You got the taco bowl in there?
Now, I like getting a burrito. That Diablo queso.
Okay. Whatever you want to.
But anybody got anything in particular? I know we pub the podcast for Bill B. We tell everybody to go over to Bandcamp.
I was gonna say, Bill and GB, y'all want to talk about anything y'all got coming up? Because we've been here. They know it's out.
Yeah. Go ahead, GB.
Oh, me first?
Yeah.
I am working on getting an EP out before this year is over. In the process of
breaking news,
tightening that up. So yeah, we're just working and it's been a good year, and trying to cap it off the right way before this let's say Vanguards era officially begins for the 4 of us. So
yeah.
Nice. Who we got next?
So for me, as you know, Divine Dialogue Podcast, I also potentially too maybe dropping an EP in November on Bandcamp. So
yeah.
Mike laughing, and I know why Mike laughing. Why Mike laughing, but I'll be dropping a small project probably on Bandcamp in November. Just got a few finishing things to do to get it tightened up, just like GB. So yeah, more music in October too, in November. So yeah,
got it. Well, cool. Well,
hey, before we go, man, we gotta say, man, GB birthday was this week, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I thought I saw that on IG.
But no, man. You
birthday,
know what I mean?
Monday, wedding anniversary tomorrow. We celebrating 9 years. Shout out to my wife.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Guards up.
Life is good.
That's what's up. Happy belated, man. So yeah, this has been fun. Thank you guys for spending some time. This has been some positive news, hanging out with the newest collective in CHH, the Vanguards. I am B+, and until next time, peace in, confusion out, and be positive.